Hey everybody, welcome back to Magic Orthodoxy. My name's David and this is a Magic Review. He's done it again. Oh my goodness. Craig Petty has done it again. Done it again. If you remember my last review, I went on and on and on about Evoke. I said how awesome Evoke was. I even did 3 additional videos about trick ideas that I had for Evoke over in the member section. If you're not a member, you're really missing out. And raved about Evoke. Still love Evoke. And I thought to myself, there's no way Craig can top that. There isn't. He's reached the pinnacle. He's reached the ultimate level. I'm gonna eat my words. I'm gonna eat my words. Mind Blocks is crazy awesome. Mind Blocks is crazy awesome. In fact, the last 3 reviews I've done for Craig Petty, I mean, well, including this one, and Evoke and Chop. If you haven't seen the review I did for Chop or the review I did for Evoke, go back and check those out. I mean, this is, for me, this is 3 for 3. The guy keeps hitting them out of the park. And I know I'm gonna get accused of being Craig's friend or some shill for the magic companies. I get it, I've heard it all before. But the reality is, Craig and I have never even spoke. Craig and I have never spoke. Craig's never sent me a single trick. Craig has never sent me a single trick. And so he's got his own channel, I've got my own channel. Our circles don't cross. I don't know what it is. For whatever reason, he and I have never spoken. So, you know, he and I don't owe each other anything. I'm free to say whatever I want. This trick is awesome. Craig is awesome. You know, Craig is one of those guys where, like, you know, if you're on a baseball team and you're down by 3 and you got bases loaded and you're worried, like, I don't know, man, this game could go either way. This is when you hand the bat to Craig Petty and you say, knock it out of the park. And he did it again. Knocked it out of the park. I think one of the reasons why is that Craig has got a great relationship with Phil Smith. And if you know Phil Smith, that man, as far as mentalism goes, he's come up with some of the best mentalism tricks. I love his book, and I love every deck that that he has designed for DMC. And I love all the decks that Phil Smith has done for his own self over on Kickstarter. And so the fact that Craig and Phil Smith team up together, it's just 2 powerhouses. And then, you know, when you got those 2 minds coming together, it's just nothing but awesomeness. And then you get, you know, Penguin Magic to back it and to put it out. You can't go wrong. And let me tell you, it's only 40 bucks. $40. $40, you're getting a custom designed deck of cards from Phil Smith. Some great teaching, 2.5 hours from Craig Petty. This is another no-brainer. All right, so what is Mind Blocks? It's a little deck of cards of Lego sets. So I can say, my sister used to live in San Diego, and over in San Diego, that's where they have Legoland, right? I lived in LA, we had Disneyland. And we'd go down and visit my sister, visit the cousins, and we'd always say, hey, let's go to Disney, let's go to Legoland. And you know what, to be fair, Legoland is okay. It's okay. It's kind of like on par with going to the zoo, right? It was okay. It's not Disneyland. But you know, the kids didn't know, the kids liked it. And so of course, I always walk around, I go through the gift shops, I try to find, you know, what do you got as far as decks of cards go? Because I like cards, I collect cards. Wouldn't you know it, Legoland has this deck of cards, this Blockology 52 challenge cards. And so I had never seen it before, picked it up, and I have never seen it anywhere else since. You know, I since moved, gone to Texas. I've never seen anybody who would pick this deck up. But what it is there's these 52 challenge cards where you can go through, find different Lego sets, and then you challenge yourself to build them, or you can buy these sets, and then it shows you the difficulty rating, how many pieces are included, and then gives you a little bit of description about each set. And so I thought, you know what? Instead of just doing a card trick with a deck of cards, let's do something fun with this deck of Lego cards. Would you like that? You know what Legos are, right? You've probably played with them, yeah, okay. Or you've stepped on them, right? That's it. That's what this is. You wanna see the deck? And this is why you keep coming back to Magic Orthodoxy, because I show you the product in HD, close up, I open the box and I show you exactly what you get. You want to know what your money gets you? I'm going to show you, all right? So this is made to look exactly like what I described. And the best thing is, it doesn't say Mindblocks on it, right? So even if the spectator reads Blockology, right, they can look that up and they're not gonna come up with anything. So beautifully designed by Phil Smith, and it has all kinds of wonderful graphics and color in this. So this is your tuck case. And then your back design has a single floating red 4 block there in the center, okay? And then just random Lego blocks in the main body, and then a red thin border. Now they're not bicycle cards, but they might as well be. They're just as good. They're nice and stiff. They've got really good action. Of course, you could riffle shuffle these and do any card slides you needed to with them, but it's really not that kind of trick. The front is going to show the object itself. Like I set up there in the corner, it's going to show how many pieces are in the set. It's going to have the difficulty rating up there. And then at the bottom, there's a blurb about each set. So say for a luxury yacht, it says, what is a yacht? It goes on the sea and you can even live on it. But remember, not to fall into the sea. That is not good. So it's fun. It's lighthearted. Every single card is different, shows a different color, right? Completely different objects. And it looks completely believable. Like this is true to what it is. But it's not. But it's not. That deck is so far away from innocent. That thing is locked and loaded. If I were to say this deck has bells and whistles, even those two, that's not enough. It's got bells and bells and bells and whistles and whistles and whistles. It's Phil Smith. Come on. He and Craig have loaded this up. So for as much as you could do with Evoke, you could do just as much with this because the backs are marked. That's right, the backs are marked. And not marked with a code. If you were looking at a lighthouse, on the back, it'll say lighthouse. Fully fleshed out. In fact, it'll even tell you how many pieces are in the set. So which means you could look right at the back of the card, you'd know it was a lighthouse, you'd know how many pieces were in that set, and you'd know the difficulty rating. It knows how many stars are in it. And there's more. You can do a book test. That's right. So you could have somebody draw a card, you say that's a lighthouse. You could have somebody else draw a card. You could say, I think the difficulty rating on that is 4, and there's 294 plus pieces in it, and they'd say yes. And the third person, you could say, hey, I want you to look at the bottom of your card. Read that little blurb. I want you to zero in on a word. Are you thinking about impossible? And they would say yes. And you can do all of that from just the markings on the back. And guess what? You don't need to memorize anything. There's no codes. There's no equivoque. There's no math. There's no anagrams. There's no fishing. Nothing to memorize. It's all right there on the back. You could literally watch the very first description of the very first trick from Craig Petty and probably perform it right away. It's that easy because it requires absolutely no sleight of hand. And you would look like a genius who could do a 3-stage mentalism routine. But wait, there's more. That's right. There's more. This is also a forcing deck. So on top of everything I just said, it's also a forcing deck. It is a long, short deck. So anything you know how to do with a long, short deck, you can do with this. Any trick that you can do with a long, short deck, you can now do with this. But it looks so innocent because it looks just like a Lego deck, right? And Craig's going to teach you a long, short routine. And if you know how to use a long, short deck, you know that you can leave it as a long, short deck, or you can split it, right? You can separate all the long cards out, all the short cards out, and you can turn it into a 50-50 deck, which means you can fan the deck from the top, from the face, show all the cards different, but when you roll the deck over and have them select from the top of the deck, they're getting one of the banks, right? They're getting one of the force banks. So everything I just mentioned, and on top of that, it's a forcing deck. This is the Swiss Army knife of decks of cards. So what's the main trick? What's that main trick I was talking to you about? How the trick could go, and the main trick, which I think is the best trick, really. You show all the cards different. turn the deck over, have them select a card. And then you say, you know what, I made a prediction at the beginning of this before anything was done. It's over here in this envelope. Could you please hold on to this envelope? Make sure I don't touch it till the end of the trick. And you say, can you remember the object that you looked at? They say yes. They say, oh, great. We're going to take half the deck and just put it away. We're not even going to go back to it. We're going to leave it locked up. Your card's locked in there somewhere. I'm never even going to touch it. We'll just use the rest of these cards, okay? Tell you what, I'm going to have you select a second card. They select a second card. They look at it. They put it back in the deck. And you say, it was a lighthouse. Yep. Say I'm going to have you select a card, look at it. Instead of looking at the object, can you look at the bottom? Can you pick a card, pick a word? And they say yes. You say the word's impossible. They say yes. You say, hey, all right, let's go back. Let's go back to the prediction, the very first thing. Do you remember that first thing that you looked at? They say yes. You say, what was it? They tell you. You go to the envelope, pull out a card. On the back side, it has a bunch of Legos. You say, well, this is it. This is it. This is it. And it kind of looks like, it's kind of like the 52 card on one card joke, right? It's like, obviously, this is your set, right? It's just broken up. Like, these are all the pieces, but that makes your set. Like I predicted your set. And they're like, no, that's not it. It's just a picture of Lego pieces. And then you turn it over, and it matches their first prediction. So it's a 3-phase routine. It has a prediction. You read their mind, and then you do a word test, a book test. And you get all of that for 40 bucks, and you can do that trick right out of the box. What's the overall quality and production value of the video? They're going to start with Ryland, Craig Petty's son, his performance on AGT. He used this deck. Then it's going to roll into the trailer, and there's several live performances. You're going to watch Craig do this in the real world. Not studio performances, real world performances, because Craig is a real working magician. He's a pro. Real working pro on top of being a creator. They're going to go through an intro, an unboxing, and that's going to feature all the cards. And then you're going to learn that main routine that I just described to you. And then they're going to teach you 10 more routines. That's right. So you'll learn like a one behind style trick. You'll learn a Svengali routine. You'll learn a card and number force. You'll learn a do as I do. They'll teach you a spectator becomes the magician routine. They'll do a multiple prediction trick. And they'll even do a trick where you combine this deck with an invisible deck. They'll teach you a triumph, and then there's a closing. Pocket space, it's only the deck of cards. You don't need anything else. And to be honest, you could carry it around as a forcing deck, or you could just get rid of half the cards and just carry it as half a deck. You really have the option to do anything you want with this, really. And this is one of those decks that you could use again and again, and the spectator wouldn't even know that you were using the same method, because you could make this look like different tricks, especially from the fact that you can do this as mentalism, but then also use it as a forcing deck, right? Because now you're combining both worlds. You can do a card trick and a mentalism trick with the same deck. So that's pretty cool. Angles-wise and inspectability, I'm going to say that the markings are easy to read-ish, okay? But they're not cards that I would want the spectator to examine, like thoroughly. I don't want them to take these cards and suspect that they're marked and have them look for the marks, because then I think they could find them. Now, they would at least see something's fishy. So the challenge for you is, as simple as this trick is, you need to get your glimpses in the offbeat and not make it look like you're reading the backs, okay? And that sometimes is the hardest part of working with marked cards, is you not giving special attention to the cards. Don't bring any heat yourself. The cards have enough heat all by themselves. They don't need you adding more heat to them. So yes, reading marked cards is easy, but if you shine a light on that fact, your spectator might pick that up. So just be wary, right? Get your glimpse fast and get out of there. Slice and difficulty level, nothing in this tutorial is hard. Everything is easy. Craig's gonna hold your hand the whole way through. Setup and reset, I mean, it's up to every single trick you decide to do. You wanna do this as a long, short trick. You wanna do this as a 50-50 trick. You wanna do this as mentalism. It's gonna require a different setup for every single one. So positives, I said all my positives at the top of this. I mean, Craig's done it again. Craig and Phil Smith have done it again. Mind Blocks is a no-brainer. It's incredible. I would pick this up. I would pick Evoke up. I would pick Chop up. They're all three of them. All three of them. They're amazing. amazing, amazing tricks. And I look forward to the next thing that Craig Petty's thinking about. I mean, the guy is so prolific and he comes up with such great, great stuff. Negatives. The markings could take some getting used to if you're not familiar with them. So what I would do is I would use the markings like flashcards. I would just sit there with the deck in hand, shuffle the cards up, and then just go through the markings and just read them until you start to familiarize yourself with the objects on the front and the words, okay, your long word. Because once you start becoming familiar with them, then you won't have to read the entire word. You know, if it's a lighthouse and you start to read light, you don't have to read house. You just know what it is, right? So familiarize yourself with the long words, familiarize yourself with the descriptions, get used to and comfortable reading the markings so that you can get your glimpse a lot quicker. The longer you spend looking at the back, the more heat you're going to draw. So familiarize yourself, become comfortable with the markings so that you can just get it and go, right? So is it worth their money? I think they're letting this go for a steal. I don't know how Penguin and Craig are making any money off this. 40 bucks, $40 for a completely custom deck that's marked, and you get 2.5 hours worth of teaching. You'll use this deck. You'll have so much fun with this deck. And you can do it with little kids, right? Everybody loves Lego. Kids love Lego. Parents love Lego, okay? You have a built-in audience, built-in familiarity with this. It looks like exactly like it should. This is another, like I said, just hit it out of the park. This is another one. Great, fantastic. Mindblocks, penguinmagic.com, Craig Petty, Phil Smith. Big, huge thanks to everyone. Head on down to penguinmagic.com. Thanks, guys. I'll see you next time. Bye. Over 600 videos. There are over 600 videos in the Magic Orthodoxy membership section right now, and you can have access to all of it. What's the member section? What's in there? Well, more reviews. Every week, you're going to get 2 more reviews. These are tricks that I purchase with my own money every single week. 2 extra videos. That means you'll have access to 8 extra videos a month. There's also going to be head-to-head battles where I pit 2 tricks against each other. You're going to see all the unboxings, so you'll see all the tricks that are purchased. You'll see what's coming up way before anybody else. I'm going to walk you through my EDC several times a year. I'm going to talk to you about which routines I'm building with the tricks I purchase, and you'll even get access to tutorials. That's right, I'll even teach you magic. And there's 2 ways to join. 2 ways to join. You can enter in at only $2 a month with the Faithful. As a member of the Faithful, you'll get access to 2 videos a week. That's 8 extra videos a month. Or you can join the Inner Circle for $4.99 a month. That'll give you access to 3 videos a week. And the tutorials are there in the Inner Circle. That's 12 videos a month. How do you join? Right down in the bottom of this video, there should be a square button that says join. You just click that. If you can't find the join button, you can access the link that is in the video description below. Click that, it'll take you to another menu. There you'll get to select whether you want to join as a Faithful member or the Inner Circle, and then you'll start to enjoy those 600 videos. 600 videos right away. Stay as long as you want, stay a member as long as you want, or cancel at any time. This is just another way that I make content available to you because I enjoy giving back and I enjoy each and every one of you as a follower. Thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you next time. Bye.